What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at something that isn't a token, it's not a coin, but it is something that by saving you money, of course, especially within the world of taxes, can obviously make you money because of the world of taxes. Now, what it's going to be focused on a little bit is a little different than what we usually talk about here on the channel, but it is something that I'm getting involved with because it's something that I find to be important, and I partnered up with this company because I thought it was important enough to bring it to you guys and get your opinions as well, and you can check it out if you'd like. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at a company named Meanwhile, and what Meanwhile is doing is providing something called Bitcoin-based life insurance. Now, life insurance is something that I personally do have. It is something that I think is pretty important, especially once you get to a degree of making money in which you want to make sure that no matter what happens, your family is protected. If anything happens to you, your family will be okay, right? And so, of course, some people don't think life insurance is important. Some people don't agree with it. That's totally fair if that's what they think, but I do personally think so, and I like the fact that they're venturing into my world, which is the crypto world. Now, I've told you all on a pretty consistent basis that I thought crypto was going to find its way into every single aspect of the world, and life insurance is one of them as well. And so because of that, I was like, you know what? This fits exactly what I've spoken about for years, although it's a little bit different. I know that my people are going to want to hear about it, and so let's kind of talk about it a little bit, and then I'll tell you a little bit more interesting stuff at the end here. Now, what we can see here is, again, yes, we're talking about a company named Meanwhile who says that life insurance now in Bitcoin. They said that they are the first and only life insurance company denominated in Bitcoin. You can leverage the value of your Bitcoin during your life and secure your family's future after you're gone with our whole life insurance policy. Now, for a very basic breakdown of exactly what this means. It means that what you can do is you can pay in installments to establish this fund, which is going to be your life insurance fund. And of course, you can pay it over years, you can pay it once at a time for a premium. There's kind of different options here, but what ends up happening is that Bitcoin that you're establishing, it grows tax-free. And when you die, inevitably, as we all will, what'll happen is your family is going to get a fixed amount of that Bitcoin. So there's going to be a set specific amount that's guaranteed in the underwriting that they say they're going to get paid this amount of Bitcoin. And the coolest part about it is if that Bitcoin, say 10x's from here, your family is going to be set. And so for the people who, invest into Bitcoin who are for lifers, I'm not talking about a fake for lifer. I'm talking about a real for lifer. You're going to need to be in this example. For the people who want to hold Bitcoin and let it pass down and have no intentions of selling it, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you've generated a good amount of wealth and you're holding this Bitcoin and you're leaving it alone. You have no intentions of touching it, which you could technically if you wanted to, but doing that obviously comes with big fines and things like that. But anyway, for those of you who are in that route, this is what would interest you. Now, some of the key aspects that they say, okay, the four main pieces of this are protection, liquidity, hedge estate tax, and tax advantage savings. So let's go ahead, let me zoom in. And let's get into this. So, of course, protection. Your loved ones get a fixed payout no matter when you die. So, obviously, that's a benefit. You know your family's going to be taken care of when the day comes that we all decide to go to the next level. Liquidity. You can borrow Bitcoin against your policy. So, if Bitcoin 10x, for example, you could borrow a Bitcoin from us at the 10x higher cost basis. You have the option of paying back the loan or netting the outstanding loan balance against the death benefit. So, technically speaking, if you need to access this for some reason, which I personally think if you're putting money into life insurance, you should just put money that you can afford to never need because it's life insurance. But again, like if you needed it for some reason, if there's an opportunity, whatever it may be, you can loan against that Bitcoin and obviously either pay it down or when the time comes that you do die, it'll be netted against that balance. And so, things can get a little bit weird there, but it is an option if you need it, okay? Tax advantage savings, this is obviously the best part of this. The long-term payout is higher than what you invest into the policy, and those returns grow tax-free compounding savings rate. So obviously you can consider this to be similar to like a retirement fund, but from a tax advantage perspective, but obviously you're not really planning on using this in the sense that rather than having this Bitcoin, selling the Bitcoin, paying long-term or short-term capital gains tax, and then taking that cash, which could be 20, 30, 40% less than it should have been, and then giving it to your family members, you could just leave this alone here, let it grow tax-free, and then when you die, it gets distributed out. Yes, there are fees. Yes, it's not going to be the full amount, but it'll be better than whatever you would have paid on capital gains, for sure. Hedge estate tax. I'm not going to say for sure, actually, but it should be. Hedge estate tax. You can buy a policy worth 40% of your Bitcoin holdings and keep it in your estate. So if Bitcoin goes to the moon, your death benefit scales with the Bitcoin in your estate to help cover the estate tax. So there's also that, right? So this helps with when the time comes that there are going to be the fees that are going to need to be paid when, of course, it is time for payout. And so obviously there are a couple things here that are of benefit. Now, this is something that is already in the works. You can see here that they've already gotten this going. I don't think it's actually 100% live quite yet, but they are actively running with this thing at this given point. What we can see here is that they have made some huge steps. One of the biggest that caught my attention was the fact that they were backed by Sam Altman. He, and along with some other investors, raised over 19 to 20 million dollars, and we can actually go over to their website and see some of those different investors. Let's go out to about, and then you'll see here. Yeah, I mean, dude, look at this. Sam Altman, Room, Gradient Ventures, which is huge, HSCM Ventures, Socially Financed, Moral Capital, 6MV, MSNAD, and Stillmark, again, raising tens of millions of dollars at this given point, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, I'm a Sam Altman fan, and so the fact that they're backed by Sam Altman I thought was pretty damn cool, but overall, I mean, they have got the damn thing going at this given point. Now, obviously, this is, again, it's not like some random anonymous crypto, it's not a token, it's not a coin, it's none of those things. This is a real company, so they have no issue with showing who they are. Obviously, you've seen this guy, Zach Townsend, on a lot of the PR, doing these videos and things like that, which obviously does provide a lot of people with confidence that this is what they say it is. And so overall, I mean, it just seems as if where they're going with this does seem to be a part of the future of the world of life insurance, and I just can't see a reason as to why this isn't a good idea. I can't see a reason as to why this isn't something that could at least be worth exploring, especially considering the fact that they are going to be dedicated to this thing even through the long term. You know, a lot of people think sometimes that, well, what about the volatility of crypto? Well, they go out and say, look, it makes perfect sense for long-term holders of Bitcoin to invest in life insurance denominated in that asset and to enable a percentage of their Bitcoin holdings to become active. The company plans to use AI to help with underwriting, claims, and operations. Townsend said the volatility typically associated with the Bitcoin price isn't a concern for Meanwhile. He says that market moves that impact the price of Bitcoin do not impact our underwriting or our guarantee because we take premiums and pay out claims in Bitcoin. We think hundreds of millions of folks will be onboarding into the Bitcoin economy in the coming decades, and we're building the life insurance company for them. While the insurer may be relatively immune to Bitcoin fluctuations, policyholders will be shouldering some of the risk because price changes will determine the value of their payouts. Today's price, tomorrow's price, that doesn't matter. What matters is Bitcoin being valuable in the long-term future. And so the fact that they're, again, that dedicated to Bitcoin, like, look, listen, we're doing this in Bitcoin. It's not based off the dollar amount you invested now and the dollar amount you invested then, or whatever it may be. We're doing this in Bitcoin, and that obviously, if you're a bull, a real long-term bull, you know the amount of value that can be in there. Because say if it's you can pay your $10,000 policy now, and then you'll get a certain amount and fixed amount, then realistically the Bitcoin that you invest for $10,000 now could be worth $100,000 at that given point, and that's why going on a fixed amount of Bitcoin is the correct way if you're truly a long-term bull. And the fact that you can accumulate that tax-free is just even better. And so because of this, what I want you guys to do, I will leave some links down in the description below that I want you to go check out, and at least just let me know what you think. I'm gonna have a couple call to actions down there, a couple things that you can do if you think that this is for you and you think that this is something you would like to get involved in. I know I personally am now on the waiting list, and I am just going to kind of check this thing out, especially more and more as they do release more information about getting started and getting going with this. And so because of that, I wanted to share it with you. As I mentioned before, I partnered up with them to bring them to their to the channel here, and I thought you would enjoy hearing about them. And so if you did, you can always let me know easily and simply by smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.